So, you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken today. But hold on, don't hit Control F4 yet, don't hit that Alt F4, don't unplug your machine. It's actually pretty interesting, and I want to go over one of the sets that I think can help people understand what the game can be about. It's a really interesting set, and it's between two of the best players in the world in both this game and in Street Fighter 4. It's between Gamer B and Tokido. He's obviously one of the best players in the world, and he's really good at this game too and has some really cool ideas about how to play his team, which is Sim, Cody, and Gamer B has another really interesting team in Jack, Julia. So if you're used to seeing this game being played as like Ryu, Kazuya, like maybe, I don't know, Rolento or something, Rufus, and only seeing that, it's actually not that imbalanced a game, and these four characters are really good, kind of secretly really good. I've always thought that Julia is one of the better characters. I certainly think that Cody is a top 3 character. I think he's for sure one of the best characters. And I think that Sim and Jack are both really strong too. They're interesting because they have a lot of cool stuff going for them. As for the game, look, it's not the flashy kind of crazy game. Is it Marvel 3 where you have big crazy combos and like flashy stuff and big comeback factor? No, it's not that game. Is it King of Fighters where there's a lot of intense pressure and you can have big combos and they're cool looking? It's not that game either. Is it like Street Fighter 4 where meaty pressure is extremely strong? It's also not that game. It's a different kind of beast than the other games that are being played right now. And the kind of game that it is more about spacing and consistency. I would say that those are the two biggest things about the game: spacing, consistency, and reads. It's not like an up close mix up sort of game for the most part. It's a really interesting game of space control and being, you know, on your game throughout the whole round, because as you well know, I'm sure, games can last a whole round. And it's still, you know, I know it might not be popular in kind of public circles, but there are lots of top players who really enjoy the game, if not necessarily watching the game. And there are certainly people who are still putting in work, coming up with new stuff, and thankfully the two players that we're going to have are among those. So Tokido on the one-player side, Dalsum and Cody against Jack and Julia. So Jack versus Dalsum is a funky one because they both have this ranged mechanism to them. And you're going to notice, oh yeah, okay, so there's one cool thing that I don't even know if people realize. He has a fly, and it has armor on it, and I guess Tokido didn't realize that either because he tried to punish him, and unfortunately for Gamer B, he didn't really get much of a good punish on it. But you can see Jack hits like a ton of bricks when he gets opportunities. That's something that he definitely is great at. His, you know, for the most part, damage is normalized throughout the game, so, you know, a Fierce will do, what is it, 60 or 90? And then, you know, instead Jack has, like, crazy damaging Fierces, so, or you know, all of his buttons.
Should I try going back to QuickTime Player? Do you know if QuickTime will play WMDs? Okay, so we're back to playing this again.
Oh, are we back in? Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about the quality, I hope it's okay. Anyway. So, yeah, okay, so we were here. It's just a ranged battle between two characters who want to be good at it, but kind of like can't really do what they want to normally do because of that. And you can see that they both don't have the greatest foot speed, but it's all about finding that exact spot on screen. And there, Gamer B found that exact spot where he can use the armor on that rush punch to get through a fireball on reaction. So that's why I say that the game is all about spacing. And there's a little 50-50 Yoga Sniper mix-up that I was talking about. It's all about that because you need to be at the exact spot at all times that you want to be, and if you don't, you're just not going to be able to win. Here's a safe jump setup. Yeah, so nice. Dalsum gets those on the slide. And like I said, he's a more damaging character than he usually is, so you do have to watch out for that stuff. Gamer B ends up getting hit by that a lot, because, you know, cool setups going on. Oh, again! Wow, and he knocks... That was so sick, he actually knocked Dalsum out of the air right there. So boost chain, again, that crouching short is a 3-frame crouching short. It's very long, and it's a real threat. And there's another character with real threat kind of footsie normals. You can see how he's playing Julia. He just needs to find the right spot on screen and just harass Dalsum. He doesn't really have the best options from there, as per usual. Safe up setup again. And Cody just gonna end this. So this is the first game that actually ends up going pretty quickly, in my opinion, as things normally go for Cross. But it was characterized, as you could see, by really strong spacing, by two players who have an understanding of the opponent's character and their character, and who know where it is that they want to be standing for the most part. But there is going to be a lot of interesting adaptation going on in this set too. That's awesome, getting a punish on there and bringing in Cody. I didn't get a chance much to talk about Cody in the last game, but he's a really strong one. As you can see, that setup, okay, that's a really cool anti-roll tech. You can time that to be on either side, and it's really funky. You're not really sure where it's going to be on a roll, and you'll see that because of that, GamerB doesn't really go to rolls as much as he might want to. Kind of has to just deal with Dalsum. That's down short toward Fierce. Just build him a little bit of space. Like I said, Jack wants to be a space kind of character. Ooh, I like the mix-up! And now Julia got to try to get in on Dalsum. Great high block. Again, that 50-50, and he blocks it a couple of times. Now Cody is in. So they both have this really strong crouching short and crouching, or just medium kick in general. Yeah, you see it there from Cody. It's so hard to get past that. And so GamerB just has to find the exact timing. Oh, she has a 1-frame punish. Most characters don't have that. Or actually, you know what? It's 2 frames. 1-frame startup and the 1-frame freeze. So it punishes most things in ways that other characters don't really. Yeah, footsie battles are so sick. I know, okay, they're not the most exciting things, but in my opinion, few things in fighting games show a better understanding of the game and control of the character and understanding of spacing than just the footsie battle. And that's where this game, one of the ways that this game really shines. Wow, look at that damage. And he looked for roll right there, unfortunately getting Dalsum out. So basically there are a couple areas that GamerB wants to stand against Dalsum. One is just outside of that range, and then the other one, of course, is inside of it. You know, very, very close inside of it. Either outside of where he can do 50-50 Yoga Sniper or Crouching Fierce mix-up into Cody, or inside where she's playing her own pressure games. Oh man, that jump roundhouse is no joke. And now safe jump setup. I'm telling you, like that anti-roll stuff, it makes it so that you really don't want to get involved in that. You're just not sure which side he's going to show up on. It's not as easy as it might look right there. And he takes full advantage of it going into the Team Super. Meter in this game is gigantically important. If you don't have meter, you're just a much less effective person at everything. At mix-ups, for example, there's no Yoga Sniper. There's no real Yoga Sniper mix-up. Yeah, that's safer. There's no real like Yoga Fierce or Yoga Sniper or Crouching Fierce mix-up into the Cody right now. He doesn't have Super Punish. He doesn't have the ability to make things safer than than they would be. So it's basically much worse offense, much worse defense. Which is why it's so important to recognize like what that Team Super at the end of the last round did. Look at all that's been happening so far. It's because he hasn't been able to have the meter to play the games that he wants. And now finally Cody in. Like I said, Jack, ass up close, he really has a tough time dealing with that stuff. Even his Dragon Punches, they have holes where you can actually get on his noggin or like underneath the fist on both sides. So Cody now is going to look for a way to open things up. He has a life deficit, and this is where the consistency factor comes in. Yeah, GamerB just walked towards, and that's the consistency thing. Is there going to be a big major comeback at any one moment? Well, not if you're being consistent, and that's I think why a lot of top players like this game, is they like the ability to enforce that consistency. Yoga Sniper, with the bigger screen in this game than in Street Fighter 4, Yoga Sniper is more of a threat too, because in 4, it sucks that when you do a sniper, you kind of put yourself like a quarter towards the other side of the stage, where in this game, you have a lot more room to toy with. So now it's probably on Jack. It's kind of hard to tell. There's that armor I was talking about, and Jack was looking specifically for that stuff. Now, here we go. Into Jack for some serious stuff. And the timer... There you go. Game 2 goes to GamerB. It's 1-1. It's that long-term consistency that makes it an interesting game, a strategically interesting game. Yeah, it's a timeout. And, you know, if people tell you that there are a few timeouts in Cross Tekken, that you know what, it's more true than it was before. But there are certainly still timeouts. And even when there are not timeouts, time is always a factor. But I actually don't think that that's a problem. It's just a different way to play a game. It just means that you have the whole round to deal with stuff now. And you have to be, you know, you can't depend on an individual situation. You have to be a lot more consistent. I keep going back to that word. And I think that that's pretty cool. And it makes you play with time as a concern from very early on in a way that very few other games do. So safe jump setup again coming in. Oh my god, he just... Ugh. I don't know that he's guessed right on that more than just a couple of times on the Dhalsim. It's a safe jump setup for Dhalsim that leads into big damage if it works, and there's not much reason to not do it. Wow, that was a huge mistake. Going into the full boost combo, and that is super unsafe. So now Jack has to try to make a comeback. Wow, he got given a gift right there. And that is a huge, huge drop for Tokido that happened. Luckily for him, he ends up taking the round on a Hail Mary Super, which is pretty safe, so it's not that big a deal, but he ends up taking the round. In most kit situations where you do something like that, where you just do a really dumb jump toward and end up losing that much life, it's really bad for you in this game. You can't make those risks as much as you can in a game like 4 or Marvel, where you know that you have comeback factors. You don't really have a comeback factor in this game. Goes for throw, doesn't work, and now Jack, he knows what Sim wants to go for, right? I mean, it's how Sim has dealt most of his damage for the most part. It's the high-low from a distance, and so Jack wants to stay either in closer than that or farther away, and here he is just pestering with pretty significant chip damage. Oh wow, I don't know why he got hit by that. That sucked. And now Cody going for a safe jump setup. Cody has toward roundhouse, which is a corpse hopping move in this game, and it'll get over stuff. And if you use it at the right timing, you can make it so that the opponent rolls into you. It's really cool, especially in the corner. So game would be getting away, and now it's back to the footsie battle, which is tough. I mean, Julia has great footsies, but Cody is super strong on that. Definitely one of the best in the game. Great block. And that's a good block too, because it means that there's only one bar now for Tokido. Wow. And like I said, meter is extremely important. If you can make the opponent waste a meter, that's huge. Wow, back strong is crazy. That's an overhead, but yeah, not much you can do. And I think that's going to be it. Well, I guess it already is it, right? There's the time. So that's now 2-1 for Tokido, and at this point on stream, if I recall correctly, people were rooting for the game to just end, for Tokido to just end it, and Gamer B to lose on purpose or whatever, because he's already qualified for San Francisco. But that doesn't happen, my friend. That doesn't happen at all. He ends up coming back, which I was personally really happy about. Feigning the overhead there. And Jack putting this great pressure on against Dhalsim. Look at how much chip that surprise attack does. It's not insignificant. As you can tell, this game is oftentimes about whittling your opponent away. And if you can do that, even if it's just by chip, that's not something to laugh at. Oh, thought he had something, but no. And at this point, you know that Dhalsim wants to tag, right? It's pretty obvious what he wants to go for. But Jack is such a threat from so far that a hard tag is just a terrible idea, because your incoming character is going to lose 40% life for free. And so he wants to set up a way to get out as Dhalsim, and never really ends up doing it. Didn't want to risk Cody coming in, I guess. Play the hero. On reaction, you get a juggle from that far away. Look at Dhalsim's life just like that. Go Jack. 50-50, and he doesn't want to bring Dhalsim right back in, so he keeps Cody in too. Another thing about this game that's interesting, it's more interesting when you're playing than when you're watching, is the combos are super interactive. The one that you pick is hugely based on all sorts of stuff. How much meter you have, what time is left in the round, which character you want to have in based on how much regenerable life the character has. Lots of stuff. And so when you see somebody bring in a character or keep in a character, understand that that's a decision that you're making. That in most other games, if you hit a combo, you just have a combo and then that's it. Safe jump setup again. Oh, there it is. I think that's the first time that he's really challenged that safe jump setup. And as you can see, Julia can't get around it. Oh, don't test that stuff! Okay, in Street Fighter 4, if you do that kind of thing, fine. You know that you have Ultra, you know that there are comebacks possible. But in this game, as you've seen, comebacks are just not easy to come by. And so each one of those little decisions is huge. Might not take a lot of life considering that you have 2 life bars, but you know that each one of those things could end up costing you the round. Dhalsim coming in and dealing pretty good damage on Jack, who has a lot of life. I love that Tokido uses Dhalsim. I've never seen him play Sim in any game before, but he always goes for the cheap stuff. And he knows Sim is pretty cheap in this game. The setup again. Oh, he just gets away. I guess he was looking for roll. Stand roundhouse. You know what? He's probably going for the big charge. Wow, back strong for both of his characters is ridiculous. That was close. Dhalsim in this game, man, those standing normals are a bet, each one of them. It's worse than in Street Fighter 4, where if you whiff a normal, you can be totally screwed. No more anti-air because you just don't have enough frames to put your anti-air normal out. In this game, some of his standing normals take even longer than in Street Fighter 4, and so they're even more of bets. You really have to be economical with your normals, and I think you've seen that from Tokido so far. There's that 2-hit. Man, he has, actually, now that I think about it, more similar characters than I thought. Back strong is super good anti-air for both. They both have good anti-air. They both have these high or low mix-ups into the other character. They're kind of crazy. So now it looks like things are down for Gamer B. How's he going to make a comeback? I've been talking about how you can't make comebacks, but if your opponent has the wrong character in, just like Tokido did, then you can go down. If you notice still how much life Tokido's Cody has left, he was almost full life, and his Sim had such little life. And because he kept Sim in, you know, we know what the punishment is from Jack. I guess you haven't seen it yet more than a couple of times, but just trust me that from almost full screen he can punish for a lot of damage. It was for that fear that he didn't bring Cody in, but that's why he lost. And if that had been different, man, this could have been over already as 3-1 Tokido, but now it's 2-2. Gamer B with a chance. Look at that range work. Tokido's trying to get in. He knows that Jack is strongest outside of that with crouching jab into stuff. But he's weak up close, and now you see Tokido got in there for a second. Throws obviously not very much range in this game, so you can't really go to them as you often would in other games to open people up. You got to be a little bit fancier about stuff. Nice block. He kind of steals that meter in a way. Think about it like that. It's a meter bet, and with meter so important, it's a big bet. Oh, this is so sick. Yo, I didn't know he could do that. I actually didn't know that he could do that until I saw that, but that was godlike. So at this point, Gamer B is starting to figure out the timings on those high yoga snipers. Oh, nice. I think that's going to be the round. Spending 2 bars is often stupid in this game because you can get as much damage out of a non-super combo for just 1 bar on a tag than you can on a super, but if it's going to end the round in that kind of situation, then obviously it makes sense to go to. Man, that's so sick. I really gotta use that fly like that more often in my own games. I use Jack Geef. There's that Dragon Punch to just reset the situation for Jack. Oh man. He wants to be far away. Oh, and he didn't go to anti-air and didn't think that there was going to be a low either. It was an empty jump into low. Nice high block. And you can hit the opponent's character as they're leaving too. They're not invulnerable. Julia trying to deal with those Cody footsies. Man, just found the exact perfect opportunity right there. Starting to block that a little bit better. Oh, did he get a big punish? No, that's a huge drop right there, but he's got another opportunity. Bringing in Jack, who doesn't... Okay. And now we have... Nice, this is going to be a significant advantage now for Jack. Look at that damage on Sim. Oh, I think he got him. Yup, sick. Like I said, Sim Super is actually pretty safe. So it can be a wake-up in a way that a lot of other characters can't do. Just saw the first set between them in Grand Finals. Gamer B actually ended up winning the first set 3-2, in part on a couple of really big errors from Tokido. Think about what I said for the consistency thing, and that mistake by Tokido in keeping in his Dhalsim, and I believe what would have been Gamerby's second game, might have cost Tokido the whole thing. It's that one mistake, that one error, that can really end up changing things in a way that a lot of other games don't really have. In other games, man, if you screw up with your first character in Marvel, don't worry, you have 2 characters left, and one of them has X Factor 3, and one of them has X Factor 2, if that's what you want. And so you can still go totally ham, and go nuts, and still get a win. And even as that game gets more consistent, and much more strategic, and it's a really interesting game, don't get me wrong, but it has that extra random factor that makes it cool to watch, and fun to play. But this game, it is fun in a different way, if you're the one playing it, because it has something that I really like. That is to say, the fact that I need to play well the whole time, that I can't just kind of bet it all in some situation and do okay on that bet, based on that bet. I have to make sure that at each point I'm making the right decision, I have the right spacing, I know what my opponent is going to do, I know what his options are, I know what my options are. It's a game where you need to have all this information, you can't just go nuts. And I think that that's cool. I think it's really cool that the game is so consistent, that you have to be a smart player, not just for a few seconds, not for half the game, or in some cases, you can't be a dumb player for a few seconds and win. You just got to be a smart dude the whole time, and you have to be picking your spots the whole time, and you can't screw up the whole time. It's that kind of game. And, you know, where you saw the blow-ups, where the rounds were dominant, it was kind of some, you know, maybe not mistakes is the word, but poor decision-making in any case. If, for example, there had been a hard tag into Julia right there, would she have taken a lot of damage? She would have taken a lot of damage. Would Gamerby have still been alive? He would have still been alive, but because he didn't make the right decision, he loses.